Hi and welcome back to CES 2023, and in this video we're going to look at the best TVs of the show. So let's start with Hisense, and their lineup for 2023 is quite impressive, all the way from the U6, the U7 and the U8. And obviously the U8 also comes with the X model, which is behind me here on the stand. Lots of features on there: Dolby Vision IQ, IMAX Enhanced, and audio as well, Dolby Atmos, especially on the X model as well, with all the speakers that it has. So a great lineup from Hisense for this year. The OLED continues, so last year's OLED continues into this year. And of course, they also have laser TV, which also looks great. So a great lineup from Hisense. We're looking forward to get these in for review later in the year. So moving on from Hisense, we looked also at TCL. Now, no models announced just yet for Europe, but they have some really interesting technology on the stand this year, including mini LED, so we're getting to see more of that technology from the company. I suspect that most of the models released in Europe and in the UK will be mini LED. It was also interesting to see inkjet produced OLED. That looked very interesting. Picture quality was fantastic, and again, if that's technology that they can scale up and bring the production costs down, then of course it's a true RGB system, which is what you want from a TV. So providing they can do that, true RGB, and with a good level of nits, good level of brightness, that'll be a very interesting technology as well. Of course, micro LED was also here. Not a lot of micro LED on the show floor. That technology really is still 5 to 7 years away, and it's still cost prohibitive at the moment in terms of yields and so on. So I think that technology is still some way away, although TCL were showing it on this stand, as well as glasses-free 3D. We thought we saw the end of 3D back in 2012, but they're still plugging away at it. More of a signage display approach from the company, but interesting to see that they had something along those lines as well. And of course, power consumption is also something to look out for, because the EU is clamping down on that, and TCL are thinking about that as well with the 8K TVs, and we had a look at that on the show floor. So our week started with Samsung and a closed door look at the new TVs for this year. Unfortunately, there wasn't any representation there to actually tell us about what we were actually looking at and any of the specifications to go with the products, which was a little bit unfortunate, but we did manage to work a few things out. And of course, QD OLED was the main attraction there for AV Forums members. QLED is still a thing, 4K and 8K, but I think QD OLED's really stolen the show last year. And again, Gen 2 is out now, and we're looking at S90C and S95C as the two models from Samsung. What's the difference? Well, the S90C has no One Connect box. The S95C has a One Connect box. It should be interesting to see both of those TVs when they come to market this year. Like I say, Gen 2 QD OLED. And if you want to find out more about QD OLED and the new Generation 2, then check out our video from Samsung Display talking about in-depth QD OLED for this year, what's new, how they're boosting the brightness and the colour volume that's available from that technology. So check that video out. So we move on to Panasonic, and this is my vote for best in show. Now, that doesn't mean that any of the other TVs that we've seen this week or any of the other technology is not first class. It absolutely is. But for me, Panasonic are just doing something a little bit different, and in terms of their demonstrations, you really could see the difference. Now, what have they done? They've added micro lens array, MLA technology, to this year's panel, as well as the HCX processing, which they have updated to use with that new panel, as well as the heatsink, the proprietary heatsink that Panasonic add to these panels. has also improved the brightness, and that is going to make this TV something a little bit special this year coming. So there are claims as well for a bigger colour gamut and of course colour volume. So will that be the case? Well, we'll measure it when it comes in for review. But from what I could see in the demonstrations, there really was a difference between last year's model and the new MZ2000. There really was the brightness there, but not just the brightness, there was extra sharpness in the image, and the colours looked fantastic. And it really was a night and day difference when you looked at the demos. Now again, this is a manufacturer's demonstration on a show floor at a big show. So you take that with a pinch of salt. We've learnt that over the years. And of course, when we get these TVs in for the review, they will be fully measured and calibrated and checked properly. But in terms of the show, Panasonic MZ2000 is my favourite of this week, and it gets our best of show. So moving on to LG, we had a look at the closed door suite at the beginning of the week, and again 3 models that took our interest there. First one was G3. G3 looks to be brighter this year. That claims up to 70% brighter, but that's comparing it to a B3. How it will compare with a G3 to G2, we don't know at the moment, but we've done the measurements for the G2. We just need to get the G3 in, and we'll test that fully and measure it and see exactly what the brightness is like. But some good technology on there. It's an incremental shift up from LG. They have kind of redesigned the panel a little bit so it sits a little bit more flush to the wall, and of course it is designed to be wall mounted. Now I know that does cause problems for some of you out there who are interested in the G3, that you don't want to buy the extra stand, and last year there was a bit of a lean back on the LG stand that they provided at extra cost. So yeah, it's a wall mounted TV. The G series always has been, the Gallery series always has been wall mounted, but it is a bit of a shame that all the new technology seems to be going into the G3. The C3 not so much getting that new technology on board, but the C3 again, it's going to be the sweet spot in LG's range for having most of the new features with the processing and so on. And again, the image quality did look very nice for what we saw from the show floor. And of course you got the 48-inch there as well, which they were demonstrating. Another plus point there was the sound bars. Now I know this is best TV, but the sound bars as well, they do integrate perfectly with the LG models, and there was a new stand as well which joined the soundbar to the back of the TV, and that will work on the C3 and the G3 depending on the stand that you use. So again, that looked interesting. But the big news there was the wireless HDMI, which is on the M3 Signature model, which is, Signature means lots of money. So it was wireless, it did work, it was line of sight, but that looks promising technology if that's your kind of thing. And again, it's a product that is aimed at a specific market, and with it being a Signature product, there is an extra cost attached to that. But again, LG had a great lineup of TVs, and again, I can't wait to get them in to review them and measure them this year and see if the claims made by all the manufacturers this year, and again, our CES coverage has been interviews with the manufacturers, and it's their opportunity to tell you what they believe that their product's all about this year. We'll test it later in the year and we'll tell you if they were telling the truth. So that's it from CES this year and from our coverage on a very loud LG stand. Fantastic display behind us here with the bent OLEDs and everything. But that's it for this year. I hope you've really enjoyed our coverage. Do leave us a subscription. We have lots of videos coming this year, lots of video reviews and so on. Give this video a like if you would. And of course you can support us through patreon.com/AV Forums if you feel inclined. But this is Phil Hinton signing out from Las Vegas for another year, and we'll see you very soon.